Welcome to the Ratals.com installation guide videos, part 3. In this video, we're going to continue on where we left off and setting up our files on our server so that we can start installing the software and creating an account. So what I'm going to do is I just finished downloading in the last video. I just finished downloading our software because we're running on 8.2, which I showed in the last video of PHP. So we downloaded it and I drag it over here to my desktop. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our file manager again, where we're going to upload this downloaded file. Okay. So I'm going to go to my file manager, which is here. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to go into my public_HTML because remember in the last video, we set up our folder here for Ratals demo. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on this upload button here. Okay. And so we're going to click that uploads button and it's going to give us this, this upload page saying, here's where you can upload any software that you would like to. That's typically a zip file or some type of zipped up or compressed file. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to drag this over here. And we're going to let it upload. Now, it says 100%, but we have to wait for it to go green. And so the completed is actually when it goes green. It has a little bit of delay there to where it shows it's done, but it's really not. Now that it's gone green, it's actually done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to go ahead and reload the page. So when I reload the page, you're going to see we get this file here saying Ratals Inc. beta 0-02.zip. So this is the file that I downloaded. This is the current version that we're doing this demonstration of all this on. Okay, this is the current version. So what we're going to do is we're going to unzip this though. Now, and remember I hit reload. This is one thing to point out. In the file manager of cPanel, it doesn't automatically refresh when you do things. You always have to hit reload if you're looking for something. If you're like, well, why isn't it here? You're expecting it should be there. No, you have to hit reload. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to select it like that. So it's blue and we're just going to extract it. And remember, we're extracting it inside our Ratals demo folder because we want to be extracting it where our website files are going to load for this domain. Because this is where we said, hey, when we added the domain, this is where the files are going to be that should load this domain. So we're in the right place. So now we're going to extract it once we have it selected. And it's going to say, yes, do you really want to extract? We're just going to say extract files. This is going to say, here's your results of the extraction. We're going to close it. Now, remember how I said you have to reload? See how it doesn't show us anything? We have to hit reload again. And so now we have all of our files extracted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go here. And I'm just going to delete this this compressed file of all the files that we extracted, this zip file. We don't need it anymore because we extracted everything here already. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight it blue like that. And I'm going to hit delete. It's going to say, are you sure? I'm going to say, yeah, even just skip the trash, just or put it all, just completely get rid of it because we don't need it anymore. Now we have the Ratals software in our file manager. Okay. And so we've added our domain, or your domain could have already been added in the last video. We did an email address, created a database, and now we just installed the software inside the file manager, right? And we checked our PHP version, making sure that our zip is on. Remember when we were in the last video, making sure our extraction is on. And that's for updates later when you download updates with the software. So we made sure our zip is on. And the last thing we're going to do now is we're going to go over to Ratals demo and see if we get a page loading. But before I do that, I'm going to go back over here to our control panel and I'm going to open up this PHP my admin. Okay. I'm going to open this up and this is where we manage our databases. And you don't need to do this, but this is just for a little bit of educational purposes here. And I'm going to go into our Ratals demo right here. This is the database that we created. So it'll show you all your databases under your server name right here. So I'm going to go under Ratals demo and you'll notice the database is empty, meaning we don't see any tables. So databases kind of work like a spreadsheet to where we just have a whole bunch of tabs at the bottom of a spreadsheet, we have a whole bunch of tables like that essentially inside a database, which you would refer to tabs, and then they all have columns like a spreadsheet would have, okay? So, but right now we don't have anything in here. And so when we install our software, it's going to fill all this in for us, all of our database tables. And this is the software itself that's going to do it. So our domain name should be pointing here now, and we have files inside our folder. So let's go try. And so let's just go to ratalsdemo.com, okay? Now, you'll notice, I'm glad this happened because I actually want you to be able to know how to fix this. So what's happening right now is it's saying your connection is not private because, I'm going to pull this down again, because we don't have an HTTPS certificate or an SSL certificate on this domain yet, because we just added the domain to the hosting account. So sometimes it'll take an hour or two for it to auto-populate itself. Sometimes it never will, depending on the hosting server or the hosting service. But I'm going to show you how to add the hosting or the SSL certificate so it'll load on the secure domain, because we don't let you create an account unless you're on a secure domain, because we want to make sure you've installed that SSL certificate, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our control panel. It's our file manager, our database. So we're going to go back to our control panel here. And we're going to go down to SSL TLS. So it's right here in our security section. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And if you scroll down here, you'll notice our domain of Ratals Demo, and this is the www version, the non-www version, and our mail server. So remember how we set up our email address to support in the last video, support at ratalsdemo.com. So we need to make sure we assign an SSL certificate to our mail. And we're also seeing here that our hosting account has our mail server set up as mail.ratalsdemo. That's important. We need to know where our mail sends from when we're setting up our account. And so you can see here a confirmation. Now, most hosting companies will use this mail.ratalsdemo. And if you can't find it, you're not sure, you can always call up your hosting company. They can tell you what it is. So what we need to do, though, is we need to add an SSL certificate to our mail server, non-WW and www versions, okay? And we can tell there's no certificate because it has the red padlock on it, meaning there's no certificate. It should go green like this, like Ratals is, once it has a secured certificate. Now, what does this certificate do? It makes sure, what it's doing, it's making sure the communication between our browser and the web server is secure. So when someone checks out with a card, with a credit card, we want to make sure no one can intercept that communication between that card being charged, being sent. And so we want to make sure we have an SSL certificate. So any type of communication, it's good just to have one. So, and we can tell we don't have one because of this, and obviously because we're red here saying we don't have one on this yet. And it's because we just added the domain. So now once I've checked these boxes for what I want to add a certificate to, first I have to include these URLs, these three that I selected, to get an SSL certificate when it runs to say assign certificate. So we're going to include them to say, hey, make sure you assign a certificate here when this runs. So now I'm going to go ahead and run it, though, because they're included. You can see now it's saying I can exclude these three because they're included now and they're still checked. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. And I'm going to pause it here because this takes about 10 minutes from my experience to run. And I don't want you to have to sit here and wait 10 minutes while this runs. And I'll be back as soon as it is done running. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'll kind of keep track of time and to give you an idea of how long it took when we come back. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Well, I'll hit run first, so it's running. I'm going to pause it here, and when it's done running, I'll come back and we'll continue. All right, it just reloaded. It just finished running. So it took about 3 or 4 minutes, actually. It didn't take that long. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and just verify that we're green on those domains, okay? And so when we look at our www version, our non-www, and our mail, you can see they're all green, right? So perfect. So now we should be able to load here on this end with a secured. So I'm going to pull this down so you can see that it's still on the secured. And now when we load, you can see perfect. It's loading with HTTPS because we added a certificate, okay? So in the next video, we're going to start setting all of this up to where we create an account. And I'm going to do this in the next video because it takes a little bit of explanation to, if you're not familiar with some of what these questions are in here, setting this up. I want to make sure I make it really clear so that you know how to set it up and answer everything it's asking here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here, jump to the next one, and we'll continue. Thanks for watching.